What's up everyone, welcome to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel writing music reviews. My name is Aaron and today we're going to check out the new album, A Kiss for the Whole World by the band Shikari. Shikari, for those of you who don't know, is an alternative rock band or an electronic rock band from England. They started around 1999 under the name Hybrid and later changed their name to Shikari in 2003. Shikari being the name of vocalist, I believe he pronounced his name Ro Reynolds. It was his uncle's boat's name and is also a Hindi word for hunter. I personally like their earlier stuff, like their second album from 2009 titled Common Dreads, that has a little bit more of a post-hardcore sound. Most fans, however, favor their fourth studio album Minesweep from 2015, which has a little bit more of electronic sound to it, but honestly it still has those powerful hardcore moments and it is still a top tier album. And I gotta say, they don't really have a bad album, they're just all so different. They have different elements and different sounds they like to use, and everything they do kind of pushes the boundaries of what they've done before, and it's always super inspiring. So I was very excited to hear that they were working on some new music, so let's just talk about this thing. The album opens up with the title track song, which starts off with some triumphant horns and the intro that builds up into a drum-filled verse. It's very reminiscent of early 2010s, reminds me a lot of the band Fun specifically. The chorus is powerful and it's got tons of energy from the drums and the bass. The second chorus kind of psychs you out a little bit, helps build up that suspense. It makes it more impactful as it finishes off the song with acoustic guitar and some vocals. Then we have the second song, which is Please Set Me On Fire. It has a strong anthem-y kind of vibe in the intro, aggressive verse. It's got a funky guitar and kind of pop-punk inspired vocals, I guess you could say, specifically in the delivery going into the pre-chorus. The chorus is extremely catchy with a terrific hook, and I feel like the final chorus of this song is definitely the peak, and I feel like this is probably one of the best songs. It's a lot catchier and it's just a lot of fun. It Hurts has tender vocals in the intro and a great sounding guitar, specifically just the tone of the thing just sounds so good. I'm not a huge fan of the suspenseful verse. The chorus is incredible and a little spicy, saying that if we fall or if we fail, it doesn't hurt our self-worth. It doesn't change how valuable we are, which is just an incredible message. This song is definitely lacking variety though. It feels a little repetitive, like they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again, musically and lyrically. Then we have the song Leap Into the Lightning, which has a groovy sounding guitar that gets switched out for some synth stuff. I love the metaphors in this verse. It's got a very bouncy chorus. I feel like this song is about chasing your dreams or going after what you want, and even if you're going through a hard time or it just doesn't feel right, it'll probably never feel right, and there's no time like the present to go after what you want. And then we have the song Feed Your Soul, which I have a hard time seeing its purpose. It's almost like a remix of the previous song, Leap Into the Lightning, as it does kind of, it quotes the name of the song, and it just kind of repeats the chorus for it over and over and over again. It's this short, laser sounding interlude. It was just kind of there. It felt more like just the end of the song Leap Into the Lightning more than its own song, and it just, I don't know, it feels like it was just kind of thrown in there randomly. Deadwood has tension building strings in the verse. It continues into the chorus with a strong reverb kind of effect on the vocals. The song definitely comes to life going into the bridge, and it has this robotic kind of quality to it in the outro with a really great sounding heavy guitar riff. And we have the song Jailbreak, which has this lo-fi kind of sounding intro with vocals that flows straight into the chorus afterwards. The vocal melody in it is fantastic. There's a lot of pop punk influences throughout this entire thing, specifically thanks to the vocal performances and the drums. I love the hook in the chorus and just the energy it brings. It mixes really well with the more mellow sounding verses. The jailbreak metaphor is also brilliant, as it's just another way of saying set your mind free, and yeah, it's like jailbreaking your brain, setting it free from all the things that you think are holding it back, I guess. This song Bloodshot is about the hypnotizing nature of social media. It's got electronic altered vocal in the intro. The lyrics are amazing, and I love the phrase bloodshot and the way it's used in the chorus, referring to bloodshot eyes from staring at your phone. It does become a little repetitive though, and I'm not really too impressed with the music. I'm not digging it too much. It's starting to feel a little lazy at this point. It's like they're just kind of throwing on some kind of electronical beat that kind of just flows with the song, and they're not trying too hard on it. Then we have Bloodshot Coda, which again is another string-filled instrumental that doesn't really feel like it has a place. I mean, they could have cut it down to just 15 seconds and thrown it at the end of Bloodshot, and it would have worked fine. They don't need a whole minute, 15-second long thing for this. And then we have my favorite track on the album, which is definitely the highlight of the whole album, Goldfish. It brings that bassy heaviness. It brings that attitude to it. The vocals sound great with the synth, and just the whole production on the thing is just, it holds it all together so nice. The pre-chorus is really spicy. The chorus is a little playful, but also kind of dark at the same time if you look into the lyrics. The bridge is like a borderline breakdown with a phenomenal verse 3 that connects the bridge and the final chorus together perfectly. And then we have the closing track, well, sort of the closing track. It's the 11th track on the album. It is How a Giant Pacific Octopus, and I feel like, I don't know, I find this one to be about how people are constantly changing and we don't really know anybody. It's kind of hard to tell. It's like he refers to himself as a chameleon, but he's not. He's a Pacific octopus that can change colors. I'm not really too sure. I believe that's how I took it, is that people are always changing. We don't really know who anybody is. If it's been a couple years since you've seen someone, you probably don't know who they are either. The verse has really good narration to it. This is kind of another strong pop-punk inspired song that has early 2010 influence to it, specifically in the pre-chorus and the chorus. And then we get to the real closing track, which is Giant Pacific Octopus swirling off into infinity, which is kind of a cool closing track as it closes off the narration and the last song we just heard. But at the same time, it feels kind of pointless. It feels like it just kind of, I don't know, like they needed to fill up more time getting their song in there, so they just kind of threw this on the end of it. Now, I gotta admit, I'm not really a common listener of electronic rock music per se, but Enter Shikari, they always seem to kind of do things right. I like the common musical themes that are found throughout this album, specifically the horns and the strings. They mesh really well together with the common lyrical themes that are found throughout it. Their use of electronics don't completely drown out the real instruments, such as the guitar, for instance. That does get its time in the spotlight. However, when the guitar is shining through and it sounds great, it gets cut out for basically the same kind of thing and synth to replace it, where it doesn't really seem necessary. The guitar, it would have done better. I feel like it would have been better if it stuck around, and then you don't hear from it again for a couple more songs, which is kind of sad to me. Another problem I have with this album is the middle of it becomes pretty dull, uneventful, and very forgettable. You have a very strong intro with the top great sounding 2 songs, and then it kind of falls apart until you get to the song Bloodshot, which starts to kind of come back to life again. It gets a little bit heavier, a little bit more intense. You have the best song on the album, a Goldfish, towards the end. The Giant Pacific Octopus isn't a terrible song. It's definitely one of the best ones if you consider the middle, which I don't know. You have a great beginning and a great ending, and you have 5 songs that fall right in the middle that just feel kind of boring, specifically on multiple listens throughout this thing. The instrumentals, they felt more like filler than anything else. There's not a whole lot of variety. There isn't really a track that you fall in love with. Goldfish is great, but at the same time, I think it just stands out more because the rest of the songs on here don't really hit you that much. There's not a song on here that you want to keep going back and listening to over and over and over again. I listened to this thing about 5 times, and around the 3rd time, Goldfish was definitely, it was losing its magical qualities that it once had. So with all that said, I gotta give A Kiss for the Whole World by Enter Shikari a 5.8 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think, especially from people who are fans of electronic rock and who know a little bit more about this stuff than I do and have probably a more grounded opinion than me. Maybe leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of A Kiss for the Whole World. Let me know what you rate it. Let me know what your favorite song is and why it's Goldfish. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you want to help support me and my channel, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. Doing any of that stuff helps me out tremendously, especially with YouTube's insane algorithms that are just always changing to the point where if you're subscribed and you ring the bell icon to get notifications from a channel, if you watch their videos and you don't interact with it by giving it a thumbs up, thumbs down, leaving a comment, YouTube's going to be like, hey, you're subscribed and you want notifications, but you're not interacting, so we're just not going to show it to you anymore, which has been the case for a lot of people who watch my channel and then they start liking the videos again, and then they start getting updates thinking I just quit making videos. So yeah, and thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about music. I appreciate you more than you could ever imagine. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night whenever you have been watching this, and I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trying to keep relying on my parents said to save me. Years gone by, turning over, running over, never die. Said to cry.